Hi, welcome to Strength Reversed. It's Amy. Thank you so much for being here. It is a beautiful Sunday morning here, and let me tell you, Hurricane Ian has brought some pretty spectacular weather. It is about as much fall as Florida has to offer. So it's not as crisp as I might like, but it's crispy enough, and I am so looking forward to heading to a pumpkin patch maybe next weekend. I have decorated the inside of my house for Halloween, but not the outside yet because honestly, I haven't mowed my lawn in quite some time. I'm sure my neighbors are thrilled, but I really don't care. And I got to get the lawn mowed so I can put out, my little display of hay bales and jack-o'-lanterns and whatnot. I'm still working on getting my son to go trick-or-treating this year. Hopefully that might change at the last minute. He's a last minute kind of guy, so we'll see. I have been also enjoying my Midnight Sky edition of the Wandering Moon Tarot. It is so beautiful, and it's very minimalist, and so I was afraid it wouldn't speak to me, but it really has been, and I am loving it. So I'm making friends with this deck. And last night, Michael and I went to Jacksonville, so it was a little bit of a drive, but we went to the immersive Van Gogh exhibit, and it was really cool. So if you don't know what it is, they project Van Gogh artwork onto the floor, onto the walls in a huge room, and you're just surrounded by it. And it was really cool. It was really a good time. If you have that near where you live, it is worth driving to see. I wish I could go back. It's just one of those places you would go and sit on a bench and relax and maybe pull a few tarot cards. But I didn't because I didn't want to look weird. So I have a little hashtag today, and I got this idea from looking at a meme that my mom sent me, and it is the Tarot Anti-Bucket List. So this is all the stuff all the goals that I don't have. I think that when you are thinking about what you want, one good strategy is to also consider what you don't want, and that can eliminate some of the clutter in your mind. And so I was thinking about the tarot goals that I don't have that I can just go ahead and scratch off my to-do list, because sometimes I fall victim to doing what I feel like I should do just to keep up with the Joneses when I don't really want to do that anyway. I have an example. A person that I know here in town that I was in a tarot meetup with, there's a store in the mall that sells crystals and whatnot, and they have tarot readings there. And I thought, well, who's the tarot reader? Maybe I know them. And it was this woman who was very nice and who I like a lot, but I kind of got these feelings of jealousy. Like, why am I not doing this? Why am I not putting myself out there? Why am I not the one giving these tarot readings? And then I thought, you know what? I don't really want to give mall tarot readings, okay? Because I don't like a lot of the questions that I can foresee might come up from, mall clearance. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with those questions or with those clearance, but I kind of like the deeper questions. And I don't really like reading in situations where people maybe weren't planning to get a tarot reading, or they've, haven't had time to consider the kind of question that I might want to help someone with. So, anyway, it's not something that I even really wanted, but I was still having these feelings of I should be doing that because someone else is doing that. So I decided to cross a few things off the list. And if you feel so inclined, I would love to hear your anti-bucket list for tarot, the kind of stuff the goals that you don't have. So I really wanted to keep this along the lines of goals I don't have and not things that I don't do, because there's a list a mile long of tarot things that I won't do. Like I won't, do third-party readings, or I won't read about this or that, etc. I won't riffle shuffle. No offense to riffle shufflers around the globe. But these are just a list of a few things that a few goals that I don't have when it comes to tarot. So the first goal that I don't have is I don't want to amass a huge tarot collection. My tarot collection is, I think, relatively small, and even that, there's some dead weight in my collection. There are some decks that I could get rid of, and there are a couple decks I wouldn't even know how to get rid of, because I did this thing where I cleaned one of my decks with salt and it warped the cards. It wasn't a good idea. And I'm not loving the deck anyway. So it's not a deck that I could sell or give away. And I'm not called to the artwork, so I don't want to display it. Anyway, I don't like having extra decks because I can feel the pull of their energy. And when I'm not using them or I don't really love them, it doesn't feel good. And I've had a couple of situations recently where I've picked up decks on the fly that I didn't really love in the end, and thought, why didn't I follow my own rules? Because usually I like to let a deck percolate for many a month, maybe a year, before I actually invite it into my home. So yeah, so I don't really want to collect a bunch of decks. Now, decks that I get just as a surprise, I usually end up loving, because people send me a deck that maybe they think I'd really like, or it was a, Christmas gift from someone that I care about, and those decks are really meaningful to me. But the decks that I buy without being really connected to them, I see them and it's on sale, or it's, shiny object syndrome, I'm usually not happy with. My second goal that I do not have, that I can scratch off my bucket list, is I don't have the goal of getting into oracle decks. I've just made peace with the fact that I'm not an oracle person and they don't really do it for me. A lot of them have really cool artwork that I would like to look through a couple of times, but they're nothing that I would incorporate into a reading. I only have 1 or 2 decks that I feel once in a while that I want to pull out and add the card to the reading. One of them is Julie's Cup of Contemplation cards, and the other one are the Crazy Sexy Love Note, whatever, with the bad title. Once in a while, I will be like, you know what? I feel like that one of those cards might add something to this reading, but usually not. And I tried for a while. I tried to get into it, and I just can't get into it. And I don't have space on my shelf. So crossing that off. The third item that I can cross off my tarot bucket list is I don't have the goal of creating my own tarot deck. Now, lots of people have created their own decks, and I cannot deny this would be a superb tool to really study the deck and really get to know it and get into it and make a deck that reflects your personal relationship with each card. And Rosemary, who's on Good Journeys Tarot, she is making her own deck, and I'm following her in this process, and it's really cool to see, but it's a lot of work, and I'm not really feeling called to do all of that work. I am still very satisfied with lots of decks created by other people, so kudos to you, and I will leave that to the people who are way more motivated than I am or have way more discipline than I do. The fourth thing that is on my anti-bucket list is astrology. Now, I find astrology very interesting, but not that interesting. I don't feel called to read the cards astrologically. Now, that might add a cool layer to the reading, but it would bother me to get a reading from someone who started spouting all of this astrological information, because it means nothing to me and I would sort of glaze over. So I don't care if the person you're talking about is a Libra or a Capricorn or whatever. Um, I understand in general what you mean when you say that, but if I want astrology, I'll go to an astrologer, and I don't I don't organize the cards astrologically. And I think it's really cool that some people do, but I am not called to it, and I'm crossing that off the list. I don't want to do it. Just, it's one of those keeping up with the Joneses things that I do to myself. And I just don't, I'm not astrologically inclined. Okay, I think tarot cards have a lot of meaning, like more meaning than you could ever learn, even without going into the extras. And that's just not, I think when I try to layer astrology on top of it, it's like a whole other, you know, field of study that I'd have to read about, and to me it feels like work, and it doesn't feel like good information for me. Another thing that I'm crossing off the list is mediumship. I do not have the goal to connect with dead people through tarot readings or otherwise. I think some people, when loved ones die, they kind of assign them sainthood, and people who die do not become Jesus. So I feel like my loved ones who meant something to me, I feel a connection with, and maybe I will let them know that I'm open to hearing from them, but I don't want to hear from anyone else's dead loved ones. Okay, I just don't want to make that connection. They all say the same thing, right? I mean, I watch Tyler Henry. I think that's cool, but I will leave that to the mediums. It's not a gift that I want to develop or discover within myself, because I feel like they all just say, I'm fine now, it's fine, I forgive you, everything's fine, I have a new perspective, and I'm going to leave it at that. I feel like, you know, if you want to connect with your loved ones, you could journal and probably get a good outcome. I don't mean that to sound judgy, but I just feel like it's a boundary I don't want to cross. Number 6 is, this is the last one. I do not want to have a tarot business. Now, I do read professionally in the sense that when I give someone a reading, I charge them money. Okay, so there's an exchange there. Sometimes I will give someone a free reading if it's a friend or something and we're hanging out and I feel like I want to offer that, but usually not. But I don't feel the urge to start a business. And the reason, I think, is because a business is work. And I like tarot to be something that I do when I want, when I feel like I want to. I don't want to feel pressured to give readings that I don't want to give because I want to receive payment. And I think you have to know yourself before you start a business. And I know myself, and I'm not someone who wants to have to hustle for income. I like to know that I'm going to go to my job during these hours, and this is what my paycheck is going to look like, and I don't have to guess or estimate. And I like that security. I'm kind of a, you know, someone who likes routine. I'm not like a spur of the moment kind of gal. I really like control, and I want to know what to expect. Yes, that works against me sometimes. So while I would love to increase at some point the number of the amount of readings for others that I do, I don't think I want to turn it into a business where I have to advertise and sell myself and get new clients, and that would make it unfun to me. So those are the 6 things on my tarot anti-bucket list, things I'm not called to do. And I hope I didn't sound like, if you do any of these things, then I think that's great, because you know, I'm glad someone does them, just not me. I just don't want it to be me. So I would love to know what is on your tarot anti-bucket list. What things do you know? What goals do you know that you don't have for tarot? That sounds weird. What tarot goals do you know you don't have? It's off the list. I can stop thinking about it and pressuring myself. All right, I'm going to go enjoy this beautiful day. And by that, I mean go grocery shopping. And then I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.